Hello and welcome to new and returning viewers. Today I'm taking a look at different books that may be helpful if you're in that situation of you're not quite sure where to head next, or you just need a little bit of inspiration or some clarity of thought. The first book that I want to talk about is The Oculatum. I had done a video about this earlier, and it's definitely one of my favorite and certainly most unique books. The Oculatum is a book of great insight for those who wish to see. It was put together by Butler Yates based on other information, and he gives a history of the book. He also mentions on the inside cover, "It is not important to remember the phrases found within or to understand their meaning at first sight. Rather, this book, with no beginning, middle, or end, may be read in either direction. The secret of the Oculatum lies in the power of individual choice. You must decide which is the front and back of the book, which is the top and bottom of the page. You must choose which section to start, and in 6 days, greater clarity of thought, increased self-awareness, renewed focus, and inner strength will be yours." I enjoy this book because, as the author says, the choice is really up to you, whether you're reading it this way or this way, and where the front and back of the book happens to be. So I picked it up because I've never seen a book printed like this, and I was very much interested in it. I did give it a try a while ago, and I may actually do it again, because I did find it very helpful, and I followed his suggested instructions of how you do it, how often you say the phrase throughout the day, and you do that for 6 days. So I may give that a try again at some point. There's also a website for the Oculatum. I'll leave that down in the description below if you want more information about it. The author gives a history of where the different sayings came, how it was passed along, and mentions that this is something that people would refer to in a time of great need. So they may have been facing a difficult choice or a difficult situation. So it's something to just help you think about different things and get you back on track. It's a fun book, and it's one that I definitely keep, even though I've not read it and it isn't meant to be read front to back. It's one I enjoy because it's certainly so different the way that it was printed. Another book that I picked up to help with getting on track and some thoughts was Meditations to Heal Your Life by Louise L. Hay. And I'm pretty sure many people are well aware of Louise Hay and, of course, Hay House Publishing, that features a number of authors as well as Louise's own books. I particularly enjoyed this one, and the idea is that if you're having a difficult, challenging day, you simply open up to a page, and on the page you have a short saying as well as a description and an affirmation at the bottom. So it's quite handy, and she has certainly a number of different pages and concepts. Here is the contents page, and what I did was go through and check mark the pages that I thought would apply to me at different times in different situations. Some I left out because for me, they just didn't seem to apply. And then what I did, because if you've seen some of my other videos, I take information from books and I like to see how I can incorporate them into my everyday life. So I have a small little box here with some of the feathers from my birds that I found out in the yard. Then I had cardstock that I cut down into little squares. Yes, using my handy dandy cutter that you may have seen in my Career and Confidence video. Then what I did was write out all the words from the concepts in the book that applied to me. So I made my own deck of cards, and what I've done in the past is if I'm having a bit of difficulty or I'm stuck with maybe not being able to get my thoughts on track or wondering about what next steps to take or just needing to tweak where my thoughts are going, then I'll pull out the deck and I always give them a shuffle and then pull out a card or two depending on how I'm feeling. And then here we go. The card that I picked is Divine Guidance. So for me, that's a reminder that the universe is always supporting you, whether you believe that's angels, God, other beings. It's also a good clue to be mindful of different signs and things that come up in life, whether that's something we're reading, something we've seen, or something we've heard. When I'm using the deck, I'll leave the card out for about a week or so, and then I journal about how that came up, how that helped my thoughts get on track, different things that I've noticed about it. So that's one way that I have a book that's set up a certain way. She doesn't suggest making your own deck of cards. I just found that that was helpful for me because I also use other oracle decks. So for me, it was just handy to set it up as a card deck with the words that applied to me. And then if I need a little more information or guidance, then, as I say, I had picked Divine Guidance, so I would go to page 55 and then read what she has for just a little more information. And the affirmation here is, all is in divine right order. So that just gives you a bit of peace, and maybe things seem difficult right now, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way. Things will flow the way that they are meant to. So that's just one way to make use of a book with some helpful tips and information. On the back, Louise has, this is a book of ideas to spark your own creative thinking process. It will give you an opportunity to see other ways to approach your experiences. So, for example, with the bulletin board or even the career and confidence board that I made, you could go through this particular book and maybe some of those words would be more appropriate. You might come up with some pictures to match them. You may enjoy drawing the different concepts. So again, it's about letting your creativity come out and putting together what's going to work best for you. For some people, it may be reading the book and just opening it to a page on a day when they need some support or guidance. For other people, it may be generating a bulletin board, as I did with different words and reminders. Someone else may set it up in a binder with different ideas, do some pictures, different things that speak to them. And other people may even set it up as a document or some other type of way of reminding themselves using technology. So it comes back to what is going to work best for you, have fun with it, and be creative. As you read this book, you may find statements that you don't agree with. They may clash with your own belief systems. That's all right. It's what I call stirring up the pot. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but please examine what you believe and why. This is how you'll grow and change. For me, that comes back to the concept of a kindred. It isn't someone who agrees with everything I say or who shares my viewpoints. It's someone who I can have a mature, open conversation and discussion with. And I always appreciate chatting with people who actually have different views and different ideas, because again, that's how we grow and learn and all move forward together. So it's about being open and respectful and sharing our thoughts in a safe and comfortable communication and environment. Begin reading anywhere in this book. Open it at will. The message will be perfect for you at that moment. It may confirm what you already believe, or it may challenge you. It's all part of the growth process. Know that you are safe and all is well. This is from the introduction by Louise Hay. So again, much like the Oculatum, this book is one that you pick up and look at when times may be a bit challenging. Maybe you're trying to make a decision or you feel that you're stuck, which I certainly have at various times. It's up to you whether you use it as a book, as Louise suggested, just open it up to a page at that particular day and read the information, or get creative, have fun, and make up your own deck of cards as I did. Two other books that I found interesting to read because I enjoy the author's style is Pam Grout's E Squared and E Cubed. Now, both of these books claim to prove your thoughts create your reality. So on E Squared, the author says 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality. On E Cubed, 9 more energy experiments that prove manifesting magic and miracles is your full-time gig. Now, E Cubed was recommended to me by 2 people, and they were both convinced that it worked, and the exercises definitely provided proof. I, on the other hand, didn't find it proved anything. For myself, there were some exercises that worked, but certainly not all 9. And in my case, long before I read Pam Grout's book, I had read The Celestine Prophecy, Steering by Starlight, The Artist's Way, and so many others. So I already knew that my thoughts made a difference to what I was seeing and what I was experiencing in my personal life. So for me, it wasn't so much about the proof. And I do enjoy her writing style. Now, she's a bit sarcastic, and she certainly isn't for everyone. She makes no bones about what her thoughts are regarding religion or the difficulties some of that my way or the highway thinking has caused. As with other books, I suggest if you can borrow it from the public library first, give it a try that way, see if her writing style is something that speaks to you. So although I didn't find the exercises all that helpful, I did try them again last year, and I actually did have some interesting results this time with a few of them. So I may give them a spin again next year. And I will hang on to both books because although for me it didn't prove anything. I enjoy her writing style, and it's a good reminder about staying on track and how our thoughts influence and impact our everyday life. The other interesting thing with this author is she is involved with A Course in Miracles. I've given that a try through my public library, and I can't say it's a work that speaks to me or resonates with me. I may give it a try again. Hopefully, my library still has a copy of it. As I've noticed over the last couple years, there are a number of books that I thought would be available through the library, but they seem to be weaning down, certainly what's in old school book in hand format. So as far as E squared, the author describes it as a lab manual with simple experiments that prove reality is malleable, consciousness trumps matter, and you shape your life with your mind. Yes, you read that right. It says prove. The 9 experiments, each of which can be conducted with absolutely no money and very little time expenditure, demonstrate that spiritual principles are as dependable as gravity, as consistent as Newton's law of motion. Rather than take it on faith, E squared invites you to prove the following principles. There's an invisible energy force or field of infinite possibilities. You impact the field and draw from it according to your beliefs and expectations. Your connection to the field provides accurate and unlimited guidance, and the universe is limitless, abundant, and strangely accommodating. So as I say, I enjoyed the author's writing and the information she provided. The exercises only take 21 days, which is interesting because they also say it takes 21 days to change a habit. So if nothing else, going through the exercises makes you aware of being mindful of what's happening around you and paying attention to what the universe is showing you and trying to get you to recognize to help you move on your path. On the back of E cubed, E squared, the intentional hit sensation described by one reader as the secret on crack, provided the training wheels, the baby steps to really getting it that thoughts create reality. In E cubed, don't worry, there will never be e to the 27th power. I'm thinking maybe that's a joke about the chicken soup for the soul, which now has I don't know how many versions. Pam Grout takes you higher and deeper into the quantum field, where you'll prove that blessings and miracles are natural and that joy is only a thought away. With 9 new experiments and more tips on how to keep the gates of the world's largesse and abundance wide open, this book is chock full of incontrovertible evidence that the universe is just waiting for us to catch up, just waiting for us to begin using the energy that has always been available for our enjoyment and well-being. So as I say, both books for me were an interesting and enjoyable read. But then I get sarcasm, and it isn't something that necessarily puts me off, depending on how it's used. And again, keeping in mind the words you use and are you using them to uplift and inspire, which I believe she is in this case. And again, on my board, and I'm looking over, energy follows intention. So these books certainly help you get on track with your thoughts, get the energy flowing to that positive and joyful life that you're wanting to create. And if you're stuck in a bit of a rut, then it helps give you a little jiggle to think about other things and move forward. Let me know in the comments down below. 1, are you still with me? And give me a thumbs up or a little smiley face if so. Be sure to give that like button a little tickle if you found this video to be of benefit or helpful. Have you seen or heard of the Oculatum? And are you someone who follows Hay House and enjoyed Louise Hay's work? Are there books that you use that you found have been beneficial during times when maybe you're stuck in that limbo or not quite sure which direction to head next? I always enjoy hearing about new and different books. If you're interested in bookish content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload content that may be of interest to you, because I also feature some nature and silly cat videos. As always, I appreciate the gift of your time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and until next time, be kind to yourself and happy reading.